Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So we have ourselves two interesting animes that drop every day on this day, and my God, it stayed interesting. I'm really happy with that. So let's start out with our favorite streamer show first, and then we'll get into that blim in the next video. So if you wanted that blim, I apologize. It will be coming as soon as this one comes out. So we are looking at quite the interesting bunch of people when it comes down to the fact of just their overall quirks and why they were selected in the first place, stuff like that. We can kind of get an understanding of more of it with how easily some of these like opponents can, read through each other's motives and stuff like that. Not to mention the fact that this had like one of the crazier little plots put in it out of all of them this week with one of my favorite characters practically becoming like the villain somehow, some way, which weirdly enough really didn't make sense to me at first, or it still kind of doesn't make sense on the grand scale of how it happened and when the switch actually occurred. But somehow, some way, uh, when our stealth player and our fighting game player wind up going out and searching for stuff while we were playing in the last game, they wind up finding out that there's practically no one here, that the place seems like completely abandoned and stuff like that. So to see that and then to have them elaborate on just the fact of everybody that is here at the time is either probably participating in helping them, do the games, or maybe they're the ones that are like putting food out. So we kind of don't have that much of an understanding of, what it could be that they're trying to set up in the grand scale of why is there no one here? Why is this place called the 13th? Does that mean there was, 12 beforehand and they all failed so they don't exist anymore? Or does that mean they're the 13th and there's still other like 12 other ones that might be participating as we speak, So there's a lot of interesting things that came out of just this week's episode with questioning alone, and then not to mention the fact that we get to see our stalker at work and just how much she freaking stalks this kid. She stalks him so much to the point where she knows the way he should react, the way he should brace himself if he's under attack. Like, all of these things are things that she's already uh, pretty much calculated and seen and knows exactly why and what he would do in these situations, to then give her the knowledge that whoever this imposter was at the time, being being him, which turns out to be a plant, um, or one of the mimic man eaters, which I can't. It feels like he was already changed since he was trying to help out that one Akita guy, or our other like huge fighter guy. He's like a fighter racer or something. Oh no, he's the fighter, and the guys who were out was the Japanese game player and the stealth guy. Sorry. Um, and once they came back, they pretty much brought all the trouble that they had caused to the whole group by just showing back up. Um, to be like, hey, we found nothing, so I don't know what to tell you guys. But by doing that, all of the man eaters are after everybody. So it's kind of funny that even if two or one person in the group messes up one thing, you're all gonna get, caught up for it. So I thought that was a pretty messed up way to find out. Not only that, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of just whatever characters are good at certain things are probably going to get them in more situations to shine, to be able to show what they can do in those situations. And the only problem that I have with it is that we have this crazy, crazy girl, and in her room, she had she had like 80 freaking syringes. She had like a million syringes of poison, just poison. And the other girl who goes around throwing flashbangs and stuff like that, she 110% agrees that ladies like her should have some self-defense. And to think self-defense is ejecting someone with like a syringe of poison, that seems like a little bit of an overkill, yeah. But the messed up part was that she almost openly told us that she could believe that whoever this guy was playing as him is real. Like she almost believed it, and that's why she said with you smiling like that, it wasn't fair, because she almost pretty much just gave up right then and there, and she would have definitely been dead. So that was pretty interesting in my opinion to see that it's that easy to get pretty much caught, right? Like you can literally be smart enough to call out the person and all that stuff, but if you don't actually, make your move and actually do what you're supposed to do, he blocked me all the way out of the zone. Um, you're screwed, So it was nice to see them playing on that and showing us what she brings to the table. Like how much stuff she noticed about him is ridiculous. But to be fair, she should only be able to do that with him. I mean, sure, she's been hanging out with these other people for quite some time, so they could say that she has like like a photo real mind or whatever, just something that whenever she sees something, it sticks and she remembers it clear as day. So that might be her one saving grace for why she was so easily capable of like figuring all this out, right? So I would like to see that. I would also just like to see where all of this gaming stuff is going to go at the end of the day, because as far as I see it, a lot of people haven't even really like started this show or like care to watch this show. So to see that and for me to enjoy it and be like, my God, like I just want to know where all these stages are gonna go and this and that. It's funny that people aren't even giving this show a chance. Like I feel like this show definitely has potential to do some crazy stuff in the case of actually kill off some of these characters with due time. I just don't think it's time to do something like that this early on. So maybe that's what people are not really excited about. They're like, oh, these guys are living way too long, and I wanted someone to die. I don't really know what they want from a show that you shouldn't really know much about unless there's a light novel, there's a manga that has all this information in it, and if the anime is following it, then you know what's going on. But I don't know. It just feels kind of iffy with the whole grand scheme of, oh, is that another one? Oh my God. Which is how everything's popping off. It almost feels as if they're trying to just set up something relatively bonkers. Because, I mean, first off, we literally just got to see two people that looks exactly like our own. And after seeing both of them, they pretty much put together that, oh, you're acting weird. Like they literally could tell how weird they were seemingly acting when they met him. And the weirdest part is, I think they would have all lost because they would not have figured out that the old boy who is the most helpful, the most cheerful, the most out there to, willing to be just helpful in general. I think they would have figured it out way too late and been, losing people. So, thanks to the girl who's a stalker and knows everything about him, they actually get out scot-free in this one. So, I thought that was a really cool way to play that out. And not only that, I mean, I've had my I was very, very cautious of her character from the jump. So to see her doing something like this, and not only doing this, and at the same time pretty much telling us like, hey, if you are the real one, I don't really care, because I always wanted to dissect you anyway. It puts a very interesting level of scariness with her, right? She is very, very scary, and I'm pretty sure she's going to make it maybe the furthest, or it could be the opposite. The girl who's completely obsessed and wants to do the things to the guy and don't want anyone else to do it. Maybe she will sacrifice herself or something crazy like that for him. I'm not sure. But if that is somewhere she's willing to go, I wouldn't be surprised just by the way she's talked about him, just by the way she likes him and stuff. So it wouldn't be like, oh my God, she sacrificed herself, impossible. Like, no, it's it's really really close up there. And not to mention, once she does this and takes him out and actually stabs him with the syringe, which mind you looked the best of all the whole entire episode, just like the animation they use, the graphical styling to it, man, it looks so sick. Um, but it was clear as day that she was correct, for her, the way she was acting about it, and even when she does it and actually destroys his plant, she's beating herself up for not like kissing him. So that's about as close of a copy as you're going to get, but you have to then remember that maybe the only reason why they could have made this copy in the first place was because of the first bite he sustained early on when he saw the girl was all being nice and stuff. But it also doesn't feels like it doesn't make sense because does that mean the pink hair girl was bit too for them to be able to take over and mimic her, right? So that's why I didn't really believe that it was from just the first bite. But if they would say it is, then I wouldn't disagree. That would be a smart way of doing it. But at the same time, he got super bit, started bleeding, and ever since that bite, he was not bleeding anymore. But the thing that didn't make sense to me is if there was a mimic of him this whole time, or if that was the mimic of him the whole time, where was the real one this whole time too? So that would be my kind of questioning in that. Not to mention, how did the mimic get in with everybody so close that he could wake up and be asked to go to, excuse me, and be asked to go to the bathroom with old girl, right? So that's some ridiculous, ridiculous mimicking power right there. Like they've gone, that one was going above and beyond, and I guess because of how he was acting and stuff and just talking in general, it was a dead giveaway that he might have been a little bit different, I guess. But he was with the guy who is the fighter, and he's like, yeah, I have this sleep disorder and stuff like that. And he's like, I have pills that I have to take to try to force myself to sleep, and if I don't do it, I just kind of clonk out because of the sleep disorder. So he then wants to ask the main guy, the main bad guy who put them all into this position for like for sleep medicine, like, oh yeah, I'll give you some sleep medicine. This sleep medicine right here never lets you wake up. Like that's the type of person this overall guy who's watching them feels like to me, like why wouldn't I take this opportunity to absolutely just destroy somebody when you actually are asking me? But at the same time, why would he do that when he needs or should want all of these people alive, seeing how all of them are keeping up with a pace that they've never seen before in the case of how many views they're gaining and so quickly, which kind of gives me another feeling of if they are doing that and they are doing so well and getting views more than anyone else, it feels like if they wanted to, they could end the show, or not end the show. They could end the view count that they need early, and then after they end the view count that they need early, they can then drop like some huge bombs of, like, oh, you got those views, but now you gotta like go and help the other buildings get their views if they want them to live, or you can leave and go and enjoy your life because you did what you did. I'm not sure, but it feels like there's something in the works in that type of overall category. So I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this week's episode. This week was pretty fun for me. I can't wait to just actually know what could possibly pop off at the end of the day because not everybody has shown their true abilities, and not only that, the girl who's the most creepiest, and I've said that since like episode 2 or 1, she has shown her skills to only the enemy, and the only other person that knows just how psychotic and how much of a crush she has on the main guy is the Japanese fighter guys, or yeah, Japanese video game player guy. So if he ever crosses some type of line with her, man, we'll know very quickly, probably with him probably disappearing or something along those lines. So let's see how this show plays out. I got one more video I want to record before calling it, and I definitely hope you guys are sticking around to check it out. But with all that being said, I am your boy, the Anime G, and I definitely will talk to you in the next video if you choose to stick around. So with that, peace.